Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about Gary Chapman's love languages and a little change to how you may have learned them. So I work with a lot of couples on this model. I do want to send a really cool nod to Gary for creating these love languages, because one thing he did is he created a model for here are different ways you can show and receive love, and that there are different ways that people feel a little more or less comfortable showing love in those different languages, which is all positive stuff. One of the challenges to it, or one of the critiques I'd like to bring up, is this idea that you only have one or two. It particularly for me came up when I noticed with couples that when somebody struggled with showing or receiving love in one of these love languages, there was often some unresolved trauma or challenge around them. So today I'm talking a little bit about words of affirmation, and I am challenging you all to consider, if you struggle with this love language, what could be a potential block from your past that prevents you from showing love in this love language. Here are some of the ones that actually some of my clients have identified to me that are reasons why they struggle with showing and receiving love in words of affirmation. I've had people who've said, well, my parents just didn't model that to me as a kid. And so people who grew up in environments where nobody said freely, I love you, or you're beautiful, or you're handsome, or I'm so proud of you. Those are words of affirmation. And if you didn't receive any modeling of that, that's an area where you were somewhat neglected, actually, because to learn to get comfortable being vulnerable like that, you need to have that shared from a parent, to modeled, and for that to be okay. That's if, and that I don't want to blame anyone's parents here. So the reality is all of our parents did the best they could for the most part. And as a result of how we're all raised, we all are raised with some level of trauma. So whatever your parents went through is part of the reason why they maybe struggled to model this sort of love language to you. But I'm offering and inviting you to take the opportunity to look in your history and decide if you want to continue that, or if you want to embrace some change here. But so some people, it's because they were modeled a certain don't say anything, don't put it out there. But some of that is withholding vulnerability. And some of that comes from potentially abuse from people's childhoods too. So another thing that can happen is all people heard was negative stuff, and they have a negative inner monologue running. And when people develop that inner monologue, they either, that's what they share outwardly. So they'll do name calling. They'll be kind of mean or unkind, or they'll do that internally. So if the things you say to yourself are unkind, like, oh, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're unlovable, you're not good enough, then when somebody says to you, I love you, or you're beautiful, then you struggle to receive that word of affirmation because of the way you treat yourself. And so one of the things I try to challenge my couples and individuals for how to heal is, one, recognize where it came from. And then how can you shift that inner monologue? How can you change this trauma so that you don't pass that on to the next generation, or you don't just repeat that trauma in your romantic relationship? So this is Angela Skirtu, and you can find me at therapistinstlouis.com if you'd like to make an appointment, or please like and subscribe if you want to hear more of these videos.